The book of Genesis, in the beginning chapters of the Bible, uses the phrase tree of life 3 times. Genesis 2:9. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Genesis 3:22. And the Lord God said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever. Genesis 3:24. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to keep the way of the tree of life. So in the paradise of Eden was found the tree of life. The book of Revelation, in the closing chapters of the Bible, also uses the phrase tree of life 3 times. Revelation 2:7. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of God. Revelation 22:2. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life. Revelation 22:14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. So 6 times, 3 in the first book of the Bible, Genesis, and 3 in the final book of the Bible, Revelation, we find the phrase tree of life. In both places, the tree of life is found in a sinless paradise. In Genesis, the paradise of Eden, and in Revelation, the paradise of the New Jerusalem. Everybody wants the pleasures of paradise. You can watch a game show where somebody wins a trip to the Bahamas. Tell them what they've won, Johnny. And Johnny says, That's right. You and a guest will spend 5 days in this island paradise. Everybody wants the pleasures of paradise. I'm certainly looking forward to the paradise of the new heaven and the new earth. What will make it paradise? Is it the perfect weather? Is it the fact that there'll be no sickness, no struggle, no pain, no death? Of course, we'll all enjoy the absence of heartache and difficulty. But the reason for the absence of pain and death is that there will be no sin. I'm sure you'd agree with me when I say that I can hardly wait for paradise, when there's no more sin, sorrow, or death. But the Bible tells us how we can enjoy a taste of paradise right now. The phrase tree of life is found 4 other times in the Bible. All 4 times it appears in the book of Proverbs, in the middle of the Bible. While Genesis and Revelation describe the tree of life in the past paradise of Eden and the future paradise of the New Jerusalem, Proverbs tells about a tree of life in this life. 4 times, Proverbs tells us how we can have a little taste of paradise right now if we choose to. Proverbs 3:18. She, speaking of wisdom, is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is every one that retaineth her. Proverbs 11:30. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that winneth souls is wise. Proverbs 13:12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. Proverbs 15:4. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. If you want to regularly enjoy an oasis of paradise in the middle of this life of sin and pain and sorrow, then pursue the things that God says are a tree of life. What are they? First, wisdom is a tree of life, an oasis of paradise in this desert of foolishness. Wisdom is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her. To have the mind of God, to think like God thinks, to have a mind and heart filled with God's truth, is a tree of life, a taste of paradise in this life. Second, the benefits of righteous living. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life. Righteousness is a lifestyle of obedience to God, and it will produce fruit in your life that will be a taste of paradise now. Third, through God's fulfilled promises. When the desire cometh, It is a tree of life. God is the only one who never disappoints. And you'll enjoy the tree of life of God's fulfilled promises when you fill your life with His Word and you pray faithfully and earnestly. And fourth, through a God-honoring tongue. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life. When your speech is controlled by God's Spirit, you will enjoy a taste of paradise in this life. Christian, man's sin forfeited past paradise. Christ's redemption purchased a future paradise for believers. But you can enjoy a taste of paradise in this life, every day, by taking God at His word. Stay the course.